Hey there and welcome! Today we're going on a little adventure. We're going to step off the regular path and journey deep into the amazing number forest, where, believe it or not, every single number has its own story. So, are you ready to jump in? Let's go! All right, so now that we can spot the difference between prime and composite trees, we need some kind of map to see how the composite ones are actually built. And for that, we're going to use my favorite tool. It's this really fun thing called a factor tree. It's kind of like a puzzle game, and I'm going to show you exactly how to play. So here's how you play. It's super simple. First, you put a composite number right at the top. Then, you split it into any two numbers that multiply to make it, and those are your first branches. Now, here's the key. If either of those branch numbers is still composite, you have to split it again, and you just keep going down and down until every single branch ends in a prime number. Easy, right? Let's try one together, okay? Look at the factor tree for 24. We can start by splitting it into 4 and 6. But wait, are 4 and 6 prime numbers? Nope. So we have to keep going. 4 becomes 2 times 2, and 6 becomes 2 times 3. Now look at the very bottom. 2, 2, 2, and 3. Are they all prime? Yes, so we can circle them. We just found the prime building blocks of 24. And we do the exact same thing for a bigger number like 180. Now, writing out 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, it can get a little long, right? Well, mathematicians have a really cool shortcut for this. It's called index form. Instead of writing out all the 2's, we can just write 2 with a little 3 up top, and we say that as 2 to the power of 3. It's just a much cleaner, neater way to write down our answer. You're doing fantastic! Now that we know how to break any number down into its prime building blocks, we can use that skill to solve two of the biggest puzzles in the whole number forest, finding something called the highest common factor, or HCF, and the lowest common multiple, or LCM. Okay, let's start with the HCF. Think of it like this. Imagine you and a friend each have a pile of toy bricks. The HCF is like finding which bricks you both have that are the exact same color and shape. So first, we list out all the prime factors for 24 and for 180. Then we just find the ones they have in common. Looks like they both have 2 2's and 1 3. So we multiply just those common ones together, 2 times 2 times 3, and that gives us 12. The HCF is 12. And now for the LCM. This is kind of like gathering up all the toy bricks from both you and your friend, but you only count the shared ones once. The easiest way to do it is to start with our HCF, which we already know is 12. Then we look back at our lists and find all the prime factors we didn't use. For 24, we had a leftover 2. For 180, we had a leftover 3 and a 5. So we just multiply our HCF by all those leftovers. 12 times 2 times 3 times 5 gives us 360. So if you're ever getting confused, just remember this one thing. For HCF, you only use the building blocks that are shared. For LCM, you start with the shared blocks and then you multiply in all the leftover blocks from both numbers. It's all about shared versus everything. And hey, want to know a really neat math magic trick? You can use this to check your work. If you multiply your HCF and your LCM together, you will always get the exact same answer as when you multiply your two original numbers. Look, 12 times 360 is 4,320, and 24 times 180 is also 4,320. It works every single time. You've done such an amazing job finding your way through the number forest today. Seriously. So, before we finish up, let's just talk about how to make sure you always feel confident on this path and can avoid any tricky spots. Even the best explorers can take a wrong turn sometimes, so let's look out for these common tricky areas. First, make sure your factor tree goes all the way down until every single branch is a prime number. Don't stop too early. And remember, factors break down, multiples build up. Keep those rules for HCF and LCM separate in your head. And finally, just remember that this whole factor tree game is for composite numbers. Prime numbers are already as simple as they can get. And most importantly of all, I want you to remember this. The goal here is not about being the fastest person to get the answer. The real goal is to understand what you're doing. So take your time, follow the steps, and know that every single problem you solve is making you a stronger and more confident mathematician. Because that's really what it's all about, right? Breaking things down into clear, simple steps so you can build a really strong understanding. That's the EduLauncher way. Clear steps, strong understanding, and real confidence. Thanks so much for exploring the number forest with me today.